Hi everyone, in this video I work through another must-know example when learning about optimization problems. And that's the one we see here. Now if you want, go ahead and press pause and try working through this question on your own. And if not, let's get started. We're told, given that a cylindrical can of soda must contain 330 milliliters, which is the same thing as 330 centimeters cubed, what dimensions, that is, which radius and height, must the can have to minimize its surface area? Well, let me start by moving this question to the side a bit. There we go. To solve this optimization problem, I followed the same 4 steps as I would for any optimization problem. In the first step, step 1, we need to find an expression for the quantity we're trying to optimize, written in terms of the variables. Well, in this case, we're trying to minimize the surface area of the can. And so to help me find an expression for that surface area, I like to make a quick sketch of what it is we're actually dealing with. So let's see if I try and do that here. We have a cylindrical can, so let's say that's the top, the sides of the can right here, and the base of it. There we go. And this can has a height, which I'll go ahead and call h, so that's h, and a radius, which I'll draw there, and I'll say it's called r. And just looking at this, it's quite clear that the only variables we have here are h and r. Now, if I go ahead and call the total surface area S, then it's going to equal to the surface area of the disk at the top plus the surface area of the disk at the bottom. So I'll start by just drawing those. I have a disk at the top plus a disk at the bottom. And alongside that, we have the curved surface area wrapping itself around the can. Now, that surface area is in fact a rectangle which wraps itself all the way around the cylinder. And what that tells us is that the base of this rectangle has to equal to the circumference of the disk at the top and at the bottom. And that circumference is equal to 2 pi r. The height of the rectangle is h, and each of the disks here have a radius of r. Alright, now that we've made all these sketches to help us, let's go ahead and write this all in mathematical notation. The area of each disk is pi r squared, so we have pi r squared plus pi r squared, and the area of this rectangle is base times height, so that's 2 pi r times h. Finally, since pi r squared plus pi r squared is 2 pi r squared, we can go ahead and state that the surface area S is equal to 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times h. And that's our first step done. We now have an expression for the quantity we're trying to optimize. In this case, it's the surface area we're trying to minimize, written in terms of the variables we have, which are r and h. So we move on to step 2. And in step 2, we need to find or identify the constraint and write it in terms of the same variables as we did in step 1. So those would be r and h. Now, when I say constraint, you can think of it as what's the limitation. And in this case, we're trying to minimize the surface area. So when I say limitation, ask yourself what's stopping us from making the surface area equal to 0. And as we read through the question again, we quickly see that the only limitation we're dealing with here is the fact that the volume of this cylinder must equal to 330 cubic centimeters. So the constraint or limitation is the fact that the volume, which I'll go ahead and call V, has to be equal to 330. And so now that we've identified this constraint, we need to write it in terms of the variables h and r. And for that, we use the fact that the volume of a cylinder is equal to the area of the disk at the base, so that's pi r squared, times the height of the cylinder, which is just h. And combining these two results, we quickly find that the constraint is the fact that pi r squared times h must equal to 330. And that's our second step done. We now have an expression for the constraint written in terms of the variables r and h. So we move on to step 3. And in this step, we need to use the expression for the constraint we just found to eliminate one of the variables, so r or h, inside the expression for s. The objective being to only have one variable left inside our expression for the surface area. So let's see, starting from our constraint, so that's pi r squared times h, which equals to 330, we can rearrange this to make either h or r the subject. Looking at this, it seems easiest to make h the subject. Indeed, for that, all I have to do is divide both sides by pi r squared. In other words, I can quickly rearrange this to write h equals to 330 over pi r squared. And I'll go ahead and box that in blue just to remind us that we obtained that from the constraint. And now that I've done that, I can go back to the expression I have for s here and replace every h I see, so this one here, by 330 over pi r squared. And that will eliminate the h. So that would be s equals to 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times 330 over pi r squared. Now multiplying this numerator by 2 pi r leads to 2 pi r squared plus 660 pi r over pi r squared. And now simplifying this pi on the numerator and denominator, as well as this r and this r squared, leaves us with s is equal to 2 pi r squared plus 660 over r. And that's the third step done. We now have an expression for the quantity we wish to optimize written solely in terms of one of the two variables. And in fact, now that it's written this way, we could go ahead and specify that the surface area is written as a function of r only. So that's s of r. And now that that's done, we move on to the fourth and final step. And in this step, we use calculus to optimize. Or in this case, we use calculus to minimize, meaning find the minimum value, of the surface area, which is this function here. So let's see, starting from the function s of r, which equals to 2 pi r squared plus 660 over r, the first thing we need to do is differentiate it. And for that, I go ahead and use the power rule and state that s dash of r is equal to 4 pi r minus 660 over r squared. And let me point out, I'm sure you have no trouble in seeing how I got from 2 pi r squared to 4 pi r as quickly. But if you're in any doubt as to how to get from 660 over r to negative 660 over r squared, let me just say that all I used is the fact that when we differentiate 1 over x, we'll always obtain negative 1 over x squared. And we could of course obtain this result by using the power rule, but knowing this result off by heart is definitely useful. It comes up a lot. So that's what I used to get from here to here. Alright, I now have the derivative, and in fact I'll box that intermediate result. There we go. And so to find any minimum value our function s of r has, we need to equate this derivative to 0. In other words, we need to solve s dash of r equals to 0, which is the same thing, of course, as solving 4 pi r minus 660 over r squared equals to 0. Now to solve this equation, I start by adding 660 over r squared to both sides of the equation, which leads us to 4 pi r equals to 660 over r squared. I now multiply both sides by r squared, which leads to 4 pi r cubed equals to 660. I now divide both sides by 4 pi, which leads to r cubed equals to 660 over 4 pi, which we can simplify to say that's equal to 165 over pi. And finally, taking the cubic root of both sides of this equation, we find that the radius r is equal to the cubic root, so that's the cubic root, of 165 over pi. And by all means check, but with a calculator and rounding to 2 decimal places, I find that's equal to 3.74 centimeters. Done. Okay, so at this stage we know that the function s of r, and therefore the surface area, reaches a stationary point when r is equal to 3.74. But how can we be sure that this indeed corresponds to a minimum value for the surface area? Well, one way of checking is to use the second derivative test. And for that, the first thing I need to do is find an expression for the second derivative. So starting from the first derivative, that's s dash of r, which I'll rewrite here as s dash of r equals to 4 pi r minus 660 times r to the negative 2. Notice here that to get this r squared away from the denominator, I added this negative power here. If I differentiate this again using the power rule, we obtain s dash dash of r equals to 4 pi minus negative 2 times 660 times r to the negative 3. And that's equal to 4 pi plus 2 times 660, which is 1,320 times r to the negative 3. In other words, the second derivative s dash dash of r is equal to 4 pi plus 1,320 over r cubed. And again, I could go ahead and box that intermediate result. There we go. Okay, now that we have the second derivative, to determine whether our function s of r reaches a minimum when r equals to 3.74, all we have to do is evaluate this second derivative at this value of r and determine whether it's positive or negative. So let's see, if I replace r by the cubic root of 165 over pi, the second derivative s dash dash at the cubic root of 165 over pi becomes 4 pi plus 1,320 over the cubic root of 165 over pi cubed, which is just 165 over pi. Now I could of course go ahead and actually calculate all of this, but keep in mind when we use the second derivative test, all we really care about is whether or not the result is positive or negative. And looking at all this, well, it's quite clear that 4 pi is positive, and 1,320 over 165 over pi is also positive. Consequently, the second derivative at that value of r is positive, which allows us to conclude that our function, s of r, reaches a minimum value when r equals to the cubic root of 165 over pi. In other words, without even calculating, we can go ahead and state that we're dealing with a minimum. And now that that's established, all we have to do to finish this problem is calculate the height of the cylinder. And for that, we go back to the expression that I wrote here and replace r by the cubic root of 165 over pi. In other words, h is equal to 330 over pi times, in parentheses, the cubic root of 165 over pi, all of which is squared. And by all means check, but with a calculator and rounding to 2 decimal places, I find that's equal to 7.49 centimeters. And that's the final answer. We can now state that for this soda can's surface area to be minimized, its radius needs to equal to the cubic root of 165 over pi, or 3.74 centimeters, and its height needs to equal to 7.49 centimeters. And as such, we've now completed this problem. But I should add, although we weren't asked to do it, we may well have been asked to actually calculate what the minimum surface area is. And had that been the case, all we would have to do is use the expression we have for the surface area here, written in terms of r, and replace every r that we see by the cubic root of 165 over pi. And in doing so, using a calculator, we would find that the minimum surface area is 264.357 square centimeters. And there we go. We now know how to answer this must-know optimization problem. And that's it for this tutorial.